And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in to Logistically Speaking. It is our fourth episode, and we're going to talk about technology today, but we're here on a special date during our RIM Logistics Sales Summit, which is occurring downstairs in the building from where we are right now. And our special guest for that sales summit is the man to my left here. So I want to introduce you to our guest today, Jason Steinke, our Executive Vice President. Gus Upadhya is the CEO of Logixboard. Logixboard is our technology partner, and we're thrilled to have you here today, Gus. Thank you for coming, and I know you're going to speak to us a little bit later at our sales summit, so thank you for being here.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you guys having me on. Been looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah. No, and to start, I wanted to, as we talk about technology, and technology is a part of every conversation. That's one of your isms that we have throughout here. But especially in this day and age, especially in our industry, technology is a huge thing. So I want to rewind super quickly to when I started, and you had a flip phone and no technology, and you could only do your emails from your desktop. And then you kind of graduated to BlackBerries, where you thought you were cool because you had a BlackBerry, but it still was only email. It wasn't a smartphone just yet, and then smartphones, iPads. But take that from where we started to where we are today, and the wonderful new developments and the things that you guys do at Logixboard. So I want to give you the floor for a minute to tell us how you came up with the idea for Logixboard and where you guys have come from into when we met you and our partnership now.
Yeah, absolutely. So Logixboard is a software company. We create premium customer engagement software. It's targeted at freight forwarders such as RIM Logistics. We really kind of started like the build of our application during COVID. Like we went to market initially in February of 2020, and there was a small worldwide event that occurred in March of
Bad timing.
March of 2020, and like honestly, we didn't know what was going to happen. But it was like somebody took like a really well orchestrated machine and just started taking pieces out of that machine during COVID. So like I think it really started to push the envelope in terms of like having to digitize everything that's going on with global freight. I think people began to realize that when they picked up the phone and called somebody at the freight forwarder who would then need to figure out the answer to those questions, something was breaking along the way in that chain. And so like it really forced the industry to digitize. And that's really where we got our start. And I think we've been partnered with RIM since 2021. So very grateful for the partnership and looking forward to many more years to come.
Yeah, no, and I know because we were all in our homes still when this kind of got rolled out to us, and it's now such a huge part of what we do. But I know, and you've been pushing this for a number of years and talking about how important technology is in our industry. But as we led to that, like what led you to Logixboard and what led you to build this partnership?
Well, I think I won't say the name, but there was a digital freight forwarder that started to come to rise in 2019, 2020, right?
Yep.
And I think a lot of us in the industry started to feel the effects of that, right? We had a lot of knowledge and background in that and in the industry, but we weren't digitized in the way that we needed to be. CargoWise is our ERP, right? And so a lot of power in that, but wasn't doing what said company was doing. So for us, it was like, what do we do? Do we build our own? Do we go out and hire college grads to come in and design, build, maintain? We interviewed several companies, and we found Logixboard in that journey and in that interview process. And the marriage was like instant, right? I mean, we were able to. They had built something that was perfect for us, and we were like, "Oh, we can do this in a hurry."
No, and that's what I love to tell customers today is that said digital forwarder that you're referring to that shall remain nameless. I mean, our technology, your technology, is just as good. We offer the similar presentation and the similar customer service. So that's awesome, and it's great for our customers.
Y'all are a little bit better at moving goods.
We are a little bit better at moving goods, and thank you for that.
And customs compliance.
Yes, that will be episode 5. We'll talk about that next one. But as we get back to the technology, Gus, heading into the year, what was your thought? Where did you think this customer experience was going, and where should we be going, do you think?
Yeah. I think I probably speak for all of us when I say that the beginning of 2025 seems like probably more than 10 months ago at this point.
Amen.
It seems like there's like several years that have kind of passed. It's been really interesting, right? Since the beginning of the year. And I don't think this is going to be a particularly hot take. Like that's a two-part question, right? So technology and then customer experiences and customer engagement here. Like on the technology side, I don't think it's a particularly hot take. Like even coming into the year, AI was beginning to kind of play kind of an outsized role in all the conversations. I personally didn't think that AI was going to play this big of a role this year, this quickly. You kind of like look across the entire landscape, and people are investing a ton of money, including bigger companies are investing a lot of money into AI. There's a lot I think it can offer, but at the end of the day, it's a tool, right? So like I was chatting with Jason actually on Friday, and sent him kind of an old clip from Steve Jobs where he talks about like technology and customer experiences and whatnot, and like there's been a lot of upstart companies and a lot of like AI applications, and if you like really look at them, I think they are solutions in search of a problem. People are just kind of experimenting with the technology, just throwing stuff out there and seeing whether or not something's going to work. And that Steve Jobs clip, he talks a lot about like how they developed the first laser printer, like the consumer laser printer, and the engineers came to him and they're talking about how it's got all this cool technology under the box. There's so much that you can do with this thing. And he said he saw the first printout come out from it, and he was like, I can sell this. Because you don't have to know anything about what's going on in that box. And he was the moral of the story was like you always have to start with the customer experience and kind of work your way backwards. And the technology is just kind of a means to an end. I do think that AI is going to be transformative. I think it's going to be probably the third like transformative technology shift that we've probably seen in the last 20 years. So the .com kind of boom, we saw the movement to the cloud, which like really enabled scale, and I think like AI is going to allow different technology companies to like spin up very quickly. It's going to like make us almost rethink how we develop software from the ground up. And in industries like logistics, where there's tons of unstructured data, there's data that's kind of scattered across EDI feeds, email, text messages, phone calls. It's going to allow us to kind of aggregate all that stuff really well. That being said, lots of unknowns, right? Lots and lots of unknowns. How do costs scale with AI? We don't know. I can tell you that going into this year, Microsoft provisioning a nuclear reactor from 3 Mile Island to pay for AI costs was not on my bingo card.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And so like
That's crazy.
and like we're reworking the power grid. So there's all these like complete unknowns on the AI side, but like it is going to be transformative. We're kind of in the nascent age here of that. On customer engagement, customer experiences, you kind of hinted at with the digital forwarder that'll remain nameless here. But our perspective since the beginning has been that when deployed correctly, which I think RIM has done a phenomenal job of deploying it, premium customer engagement software can and should be used as a revenue generating tool. It should be used to win business and to retain business with customers. There's an operational component of this as well, which is like it's going to reduce the overhead for your operators, less emails that they need to respond to and whatnot. But that should ideally free them up for revenue generating tasks at the end of the day. We've been on this journey for a while, which is we've largely thought about customer experiences as like crawl, walk, run. Crawl was like probably like the beginning of Logixboard. Just like get stuff out of the ERPs, get it onto the screen, make sure that it's easy to understand. I mean, you were talking about like how there was those like old like just basically text dumps onto the screen where the customer had to go hunt for that information. I think we were getting close to like the walk and the run, and that's what we were kind of thinking about going into 2025. We really wanted to kind of emphasize connecting the different parts of the supply chain together, right? So your ideal customer, I'm assuming, is going to be somebody who you want to sell end to end, all the way from the PO all the way to the warehouse, and not making them kind of go to different parts of the application or even log into different systems. And so like we were on that journey we also there's something that one of our other customers said a few years ago that's really stuck with me, which is he said, we recognize that we sell a commodity and we differentiate based on service. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that service component is the data. Like companies like RIM have done such a great job of the data cleanliness, the data fidelity, getting the data into the system of record. And I'm going to speculate here, correct me if I'm wrong here, you probably have anywhere from like 40 to 70% of your customers' like supply chain
Correct.
data.
Yeah.
And so there's so much you can do to tell that story, to be like a consultative partner with your customer, because for those companies who are probably doing what, $50 to $100 million a year in like revenue, they probably don't have a full-blown logistics team. And so you guys can really act as that partner. And so like going to 2025, like those were the two big things that we wanted to do. We wanted to like connect the dots, and we wanted to like basically unlock the power of the data.
Yeah, and in many cases, we are their logistics team. Our customers I'm talking about. There might be a point person or a point, few people, but we are that service provider for them, and this is a huge tool for them.
It's awesome, and you know best because you're out in front of them more than me.
Well, and
they keep me back here working with Gus,
Well, and I can tell you that no customer is going to be receptive to a new sales pitch that doesn't include technology. And one of the big things for this year, and Lord knows we've talked enough about tariffs, but we're going to talk more about tariffs in terms of technology, is because the tariff situation, I mean, it was difficult, but it also opened some new doors. And I don't know if you want to do your screen share, Jay, where we could show what RIM Vision looks like, our tariff lookup, which is obviously powered by Logixboard. But Gus, if you want to talk to how we kind of got to this point where this tool was a part of the software.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you all went on the same journey that kind of we did, right? So it's like it's important to split the tariff era into kind of two different distinct eras. Like we had the like pre or the post inauguration until the tariffs were actually rolled out level of uncertainty.
Yep. People front loading. Yep.
And then we had the something has happened and it is continuously changing, and it's very difficult to kind of stay on top of this level of uncertainty. So like there were like these two different eras, and so at the very beginning, like once the new administration got elected, and I think everybody knew that President Trump was a big proponent of tariffs. I think people had a general idea that something was going to happen, and so we started to like kind of shop things around to a lot of our customers, RIM included, where we were trying to figure out how can we get ahead of this thing. I think it was fairly evident at that point that like whatever we had planned on the roadmap was going to have to take a back burner to whatever was going to happen.
Same.
Yeah. Yep. But I think the most challenging part was like we had no idea what was actually going to end up happening. And so like I think February 1st was the first date where there were 25% tariffs on the U.S. on Canada and Mexico, and then I think only 10% on China at that point.
At that point.
Exactly. and so...
Well, and that's where, and I'm sorry, we will definitely come back to that because I want to hear more about that, but I had Jason share a screen. So what we have now as part of our RIM Vision program for our customers is this tariff lookup. So Jay, if you could maybe explain the background and what this does and what this offers to our client base through the site.
Absolutely. So we just launched this in full, and really what this is it's an easy tool for our customers to be able to come on, look at their HTS numbers, enter them in, enter the countries of origin, and see the most up-to-date duty applicable to that particular. They can also look at other countries if they're looking at sourcing from other areas, like, oh, is it only 10% in said country? Right. Should I be sourcing from Mexico instead of China, and start to be able to make some better business decisions, forecasting decisions around the tariffs. I think what we learned just this week alone, like, I've talked to people that thought this was going to subside. I have never thought this was going to subside, right? We worked very closely with Gus and his team. I'm like, listen, this is going to be something that we're going to need for a very long time. Let's make sure we get this right, And when we go to market, that it's a useful tool and something easy for our customers to use. So we're super excited. I think it's probably iteration 1. We're still talking about how we can do more faster with this, but this should be helpful. And especially with you Mike, like out there meeting with the customers, just giving them something instant that they can use and add value.
Well, and it's adaptable. So if it's 30% today and 50% tomorrow, it will show in here, right? So you don't have to. And I know, listen, I do try to keep up with all the news releases. I know our corporate team does a great job of sending out RIM customer blasts with all of the latest tariff information, whether it's by tweet or by customs publishing, whatever it is, we're trying to keep up with it as best we can. But this tool will always be updated based on whatever the current situation is. So it's very helpful, and certainly something that I know our customers have been very eager to receive. So,
out of curiosity, Jason, have you seen your customers start to move manufacturing elsewhere?
We saw manufacturing start to move coming out of COVID. We actually had a panel here at RIM with about 20, 30 customers that were based in Chicago at the time. And they said, look, we're not going to leave China, but we are absolutely going to diversify, and we've seen that. And I've been to Mexico about 6 times in the last 2 years, right? And if you go down there, particularly the border regions, I don't think there's an ounce of real estate that's not being built, right? And so you don't feel some downturn in trade or anything when you're down, particularly along the border region, right? It's just booming. So if it hasn't already moved, it continues. And if at the sales summit, you might have picked up, like everybody was talking about Mexico in these presentations and what we're doing, right? So it's here.
Sorry. But the reason I ask is because like one of the initial ideas that we had was like basically a simulator tool, right? Like you almost want like a landed cost projector to say like if you're going to move manufacturing here or there, what's the total cost going to be? What's your transit times going to be? But also you need to know that HTS code is even manufactured in that particular region.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to make everybody downstairs at the summit who's watching this super excited, drooling right now. Like, and when you leave, I'm going to be stuck with that, just so we're clear. So,
and the nice thing, when we demo that for customers, how could it not go over well? But you could say, if you're manufacturing this in China, it's X. If you're manufacturing it in Germany, it's Y, right? And it pops right up on the screen. Yeah. So certainly well received. Now, of course, the $1 million question is, as we head into 26, so where does that put us in this space for technology? What do you see, or what are you working on for next year, or for the go forward plan?
Yeah, so I agree with your take also. Like I think whatever's going to happen in the Supreme Court, I think the Supreme Court's going to take up the tariff case sometime. I think in 26. I think these tariffs are going to be here to stay. It's going to be here at least for the next 3.5 years of this administration, and so we want to continue down kind of like the things I mentioned on building like that like run part of the customer experience, but I don't think we can take our eye off the ball here when it comes to tariff related things. I think the uncertainty that we see kind of in the global landscape right now is going to continue for the next little bit. I think just this week there were the furniture tariffs kind of kicked in, and I think there's also a threat of like higher tariffs on China. With a...
He said not to worry about that, though, so we shouldn't have to worry about it. I'm kidding. We will worry about it. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, like I think 26 is going to be all about like unlocking the power of the data for us. Like that thing I just mentioned, like the simulator tool. You guys have all that data. Like allow us to like kind of go in there and like tell that story for you, because the thing that we see the most is forwarders who have done the work. Right, like you have a team that is dedicated to like making sure that you're deploying the right technology to get documentation structured into your ERP, put into the right place. Yeah. Forwarders who have done that work have a huge head start, in my opinion, on everybody else. There's a lot that we can tell from a story perspective for how to optimize the supply chain. Where are your supply chain weaknesses? Where are the areas that you potentially are bleeding cost-wise, and where can you move manufacturing as a simple example. So like really like allowing the data to act as like the supply chain consultant is a big direction of kind of where we want to go. We want to finish the connected experience stuff too. So We want to be able to like allow you to like show kind of a cohesive, simple experience to your customers that might allow you to like sell additional products and services to them as well.
Amazing.
Like,
Yes.
It's an amazing
Imagine
concept.
No, and the great part of, for our customers or for our potential customers, the RIM Vision site, the Logixboard platform, I mean, that's a value add, right? That's at your fingertips. You have access to it 24/7. You can use it in 100 different ways, however is best suited for you. So it certainly has been a big differentiator for us. And as we close, Jay, I'll ask you, how do you see this partnership going forward, and what has it meant and continues to mean for us in the present, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been blessed to find Logixboard when we did, right? I mean, we were on the search. You guys were on the search of customers like us, and we have. It's been an honor and privilege for us to be a part of your journey, just as you've been a part of ours, right? And so, I can't say enough about that. You guys have won Partner of the Year for us before, right? If Michigan and Illinois play and Michigan wins, we might give you that again. But we'll wait for basketball season for that. No. But honestly, I think I talked to Gus. Our teams collaborate consistently on behalf of our customers and talk about what is the customer looking for. How do we bring things to life? Gus and I have one-on-one conversations. We're really now, I think, this relationship that'll benefit all the customers and partners on with RIM is really about like how much more can we do together instead of like apart, right? And so that's the cool part about our relationship. So when he talks about AI, we're talking about AI, and rather than doing things separately, right? What can we do together to bring that? I'm still very focused on where's my freight and how much does it cost? Yeah. I don't think the industry has mastered these two things as much as they brag. Yep. I do think that AI, to Gus's point, is going to change that landscape in 26, right? And we'll have another session or whatever we want to do around that. Yep. And I think that's going to get real interesting because we as an industry have sort of lagged on that. If you wanted to sell a customer, what does it cost on any mode, anywhere in the world, right? Truck, rail, I think we're going to get there in a hurry, and that's going to be pretty cool, right at your fingertips. So, yeah, super excited.
Well, and that's again wrapping the discussion up. The great thing about RIM Vision is that we'll continue to add to it as Gus and his team continue to innovate. We will continue to add to it. You will continue to have access to it. I know we have quoting capabilities through there. We have the tariff simulator through there where we can find out all of this stuff, the usual track and trace and documentation, et cetera. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be, I think you're going to say, it's going to be a big change as we go forward compared to where we were a few years ago. So exciting stuff. And thank you, Gus, for being on. We look forward to your presentation at our sales summit downstairs in a little bit. And Jay, thank you you're our first repeat guest for the podcast.
Awesome. Keep me coming, Mike.
Thank you, Sarah Pack, for doing the executive producing of this fine show, and as she always does, being a big help to set everything up. So thanks for joining us. We'll look forward to talking to you again next month. I'm Mike Esposito. This is Logistically Speaking, and we appreciate you joining us today.
Good job, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, Gus.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I hope...
Thanks, Mike.